Listen up, Duval faithful, this is absolutely massive news we need to talk about. Right now, because what Liam Cohen just revealed about Trevor Lawrence's development path could be the turning point that transforms our entire season and potentially our franchise's trajectory for years to come. So buckle up, because this is exactly what we've been waiting to hear from a head coach who actually gets it and understands how to unlock the elite potential we all know Trevor possesses deep down in his core as a generational talent who just needed the right guidance system to finally break through that ceiling that's been holding him back for far too long under previous regimes that simply didn't have the offensive genius or quarterback whisperer mentality that Cohen brings to the table every single day. We're sitting at 4-3 heading into the BYE week, which honestly feels like a gift from the football gods because it gives us time to reset, recalibrate, and come back even stronger for that second half push toward the playoffs. And Cohen just laid out the blueprint in crystal clear terms during his sit down with Ryan O'Halloran from the Florida Times-Union. And what he said should have every member of Duval Nation fired up and ready to run through a brick wall, because this coaching staff believes in our franchise quarterback, and more importantly, they know exactly what needs to happen to take his game from good to absolutely unstoppable elite tier performance that will have the rest of the AFC South shaking in their boots. Coach Cohen identified two absolutely critical areas where Trevor needs to level up, and both of them are completely within reach and frankly should be music to our ears, because they're not asking him to reinvent his entire game or fix some fundamental flaw in his mechanics or anything crazy like that. Instead, they're asking for decisive action and using those God-given athletic tools that make number 16 such a special player in the first place. So let's break this down, because it's genuinely exciting stuff that shows this coaching staff has a real plan and vision for maximizing Lawrence's potential. First up, decisiveness. And this is huge, because when your primary read is open, you cannot hesitate for even a millisecond. You have to pull that trigger with absolute confidence and let that ball rip with authority. And Cohen said it perfectly when he told O'Halloran that when number 1 in the progression is open, we have to be automatic in both throwing it and catching it, which by the way is a subtle but important acknowledgement that some of these issues aren't entirely on Trevor's shoulders, because our receivers need to do their job too. But the point is that split-second decision making is what separates the good quarterbacks from the truly elite signal callers who can dissect defenses before the ball is even snapped, and then execute with robotic precision when they see exactly what they expected to see out there on the field. The second area is even more exciting if you ask me, because Cohen wants Trevor to use his legs more consistently and create plays with his mobility, which is something we saw flashes of early in his career, but maybe got coached out of him, or he became too pocket focused trying to be a pure pocket passer, when the reality is that some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL today use their legs as a weapon to extend plays, scramble for first downs, and keep defenses honest by presenting that dual threat capability that makes defensive coordinators lose sleep at night trying to game plan against it. And Trevor has shown us he can absolutely do this with 81 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns on just 15 carries over the past few weeks, which proves he's got that ability. It's just about continuing to lean into it and make it a consistent part of his game plan every single week. Now here's where it gets really encouraging and why I'm genuinely optimistic about where this is headed. Cohen literally said that Trevor is throwing the ball better and the ball is starting to jump off his hand more, which is exactly what you want to hear from your offensive coordinator / head coach, because it means the fundamentals are improving, the mechanics are tightening up, and the arm strength and velocity are right where they need to be to make every throw in the playbook with confidence and precision. And yes, we need to catch the football better as a team, because Jacksonville literally leads the entire league in drops, which is absolutely unacceptable. and needs to be addressed immediately during this bye week with extra hands drills and focus work. But the point is that Trevor is putting the ball in good spots, and his receivers need to step up and make those plays when he gives them the opportunity. Let's talk about the numbers, because they actually tell a really positive story. If you look at the trajectory over the course of the season, through the first 4 weeks, Trevor completed 58.3% of his passes with 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, which honestly wasn't great, and there were some rough moments where the offense looked out of sync and disjointed, but since then, he's improved to 59.1% completion with 775 yards, 4 touchdowns and only 1 interception, which shows he's taking better care of the football, making smarter decisions, and generally trending in the right direction, even though the completion percentage hasn't jumped dramatically yet, but that's partly because of all those drops we just talked about that aren't his fault at all. The rushing stats are particularly exciting because those 81 yards and 2 touchdowns on just 15 carries show that when Trevor decides to take off and use his legs, he's extremely effective and dangerous and can pick up critical first downs or punch it in from the goal line, which adds another dimension to this offense that defenses have to respect and account for in their game planning, which opens up other areas of the field for our playmakers to exploit and create explosive plays downfield. What really stands out to me is that despite not getting optimal protection over the past 3 games, Trevor has still managed to improve his performance and limit turnovers, which shows mental toughness, resilience, and the ability to perform under pressure even when things aren't perfect around him, which is exactly what you need from your franchise quarterback, especially when you're paying him top dollar and expecting him to be the leader and driving force of this entire organization moving forward into the future. The really beautiful thing about all of this is that it doesn't feel like a make or break situation for Trevor, like some people in the national media might want to portray it. Instead, it feels like a natural progression and development curve with a coaching staff that genuinely believes in him and has a clear vision for how to unlock his full potential and get the absolute best out of his skill set, which is something we honestly haven't had before, with Urban Meyer being a complete disaster, and Doug Peterson ultimately not being the right fit to maximize what Trevor can do on the football field, week in and week out. Liam Cohen is different though. You can just feel it in the way he talks about Trevor, with that mix of accountability and support, where he's not afraid to call him out when necessary and demand better performance, but he's also quick to acknowledge the progress being made and the areas where Trevor is genuinely improving and getting better, which is exactly the kind of coaching relationship that breeds success and helps young quarterbacks take that next step toward becoming true franchise cornerstones who can carry teams to playoff victories and championship contention. The organization hasn't always put Trevor in the best position to succeed, and that's just facts, whether it was questionable offensive line play, lackluster weapons in the passing game, coaching instability, or whatever else you want to point to. But what matters now is that Cohen seems to understand this and is working to create the optimal environment for Trevor to thrive and show everyone what he's truly capable of when everything around him is functioning properly and everyone is on the same page, executing the game plan with precision. The interview with O'Halloran has this genuinely optimistic tone throughout, and you can tell that Cohen believes Trevor is the answer at quarterback for the Jaguars moving forward, which should make all of us in Duval Nation feel excited and confident about what's coming in the second half of this season and beyond. Because when you have a head coach who truly believes in his quarterback and has a real plan for development and improvement, that's when special things can start to happen. And franchises can turn corners towards sustained success and competitiveness. So here's what needs to happen. During this bye week, Trevor needs to work on being more decisive and trusting his reads. When that first option is open, just let it rip with confidence and don't second guess yourself. And he needs to continue incorporating his legs into the game plan as a consistent weapon that defenses have to account for. Because when he does that, he becomes exponentially more dangerous and difficult to defend against. And this offense opens up in ways that create opportunities for everyone across the board. The bottom line is this: we're 4-3 with everything still in front of us, sitting in a competitive AFC South division where anything can happen, and we have a franchise quarterback who's showing improvement, a head coach who knows exactly what needs to happen to maximize his potential, and a team that's capable of making noise if we can just execute fundamentals, clean up the drops, and continue trending in the right direction as a cohesive unit working toward common goals. Key names mentioned in this report include Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars franchise quarterback, Liam Cohen, the first-year head coach and offensive mind, Ryan O'Halloran, from the Florida Times Union, who conducted the interview, Urban Meyer, and Doug Peterson. Previous head coaches who didn't maximize Lawrence's potential, and various references to the supporting cast and receivers who need to step up their performance, especially in terms of catching the football. Summary: Trevor Lawrence needs to improve decisiveness when primary reads are open and utilize his rushing ability more consistently, according to head coach Liam Cohen, who remains confident in the quarterback's development trajectory, despite some inconsistency through 7 games as the Jaguars head into their BYE week at 4-3, with Lawrence showing statistical improvement over recent weeks, including better ball security and effective rushing production when he chooses to use his legs. Make sure you subscribe to this channel right now, hit that like button and drop a comment below, because I want to know what you think is Trevor Lawrence's biggest area for improvement moving forward. Option A, his decisiveness in pulling the trigger when receivers are open. Or option B, using his legs more consistently to create plays and extend drives. Let me know in the comments which one you think will have the bigger impact on our success down the stretch.